have a lot of old Pokemon cards, and I got to wondering, even though they're damaged, how much are some of these worth? So today I gathered a ton of my old damaged Pokemon cards to see what they're worth in 2025. So let's find out. Alright, I guess let's check out what our first card is. So right off the bat, I'm not seeing too much whitening, but I am seeing a nice little dent in the top there. But as far as the corners and the sides go, not too much whitening at all. Let's see what the card is. Ooh, a superior holo, black and white. This holo looks really nice. I don't think I'd call this damaged, but just for fun, let's see how much a damaged one goes for. So it looks like a damaged holo. This is going for about 72 cents on TCG Player, which, you know, isn't too bad for a black and white holo. I think that price is justified. Let's have a look at the next card. Yeah, this one already looks way more beat up. The sides are just completely destroyed. The top doesn't look too great either. This is something I would consider damaged, but let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, we got a Pichu promo card. I think this is a Burger King promo card, Pokemon Platinum stamped right there. This one looks really nice, honestly, even though, you know, it's pretty beat up. But let's see how much a damaged Pichu card goes for on TCG Player. So it looks like a damaged reverse holo of this card is going for about $3.35 on TCG Player, which is pretty good for a damaged card. I mean, this one does look really nice, so I guess it makes sense that it's worth more than the superior card. Alright, let's take a look at our next card. This one doesn't look really that bad. I mean, there's some whitening in the corners, maybe some on the sides, but other than that, this card looks pretty clean, I'd say. Let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, a Dusclops holo. I think this is, yeah, 2007, so this is before the Diamond and Pearl cards. I'm actually not exactly sure what this card is from, but it looks very nice. Let's see how much it's worth. Alright, it looks like this card is going for about 78 cents damaged on TCG Player, which, yeah, I'd probably call this damaged. I didn't see the scratches on the holo too, but yeah, it's definitely scratched a bit. This is a pretty nice looking holo for 78 cents. Honestly, I'd say this is probably worth it. Alright, let's see what the next card is. This one looks a little bit worse than the last one. I think I see more whitening on it. It looks pretty scratched too, I'd say. Whitening in the corners, but let's see what the card is. Ooh, a Wobbuffet holo. This one is a Black Star promo. Yeah, Black Star promo. Heart Gold Soul Silver 04. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see the holo pattern on this. Like, you can barely see it, but it doesn't really show that much. Maybe they didn't dim the background with this card like they do with some of the holos, but I mean, this doesn't look bad. I wouldn't call this damaged, but let's see how much a damaged one would be. Alright, so this card damaged on TCG Player is looking like about 40 cents, so not too great on this one, honestly, for a Heart Gold Soul Silver holo. Even though it's damaged, it's not a very good price, but you know, it still looks nice. Alright, let's see what the next card is. This card, it looks kind of dirty. I see like a little crease over there on the side, but I'm not seeing that much whitening aside from where my thumb was just covering. Some whitening on the top too, but it doesn't look too bad. Let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, I think, yeah, Diamond and Pearl reverse holo on this love disc. Yeah, this holo foil is super scratched on the outside, and you can see the card itself, the artwork is actually scratched too, so you can see the holo foil bleeding in through the artwork. I think it probably could be worse, but this is definitely damaged. So this card, it actually looks like damaged is about 46 cents, so surprisingly more than the Wobbuffet card, despite this just being a regular reverse holo. But yeah, another cool card. Let's see what the next card is. Again, I'm really not noticing much whitening on these cards. This one honestly looks really clean, I'm not gonna lie, but let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, okay. We've got a Liepard reverse holo from Black and White. I'm not sure what set that's from, but this is a really nice looking reverse holo. I like how they did these in the Black and White era. And this is a reverse holo rare, but let's see how much it's worth. Alright, I couldn't find any listings for this card as a damaged reverse holo, but as a light play reverse holo, it's going for about 95 cents. And honestly, this looks about light played, so that's a pretty good reference price. Alright, let's see what the next card is. This one's definitely looking a lot dirtier. A lot more whitening on every single corner. This side is, oh, both sides honestly really look kind of bad. But let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this card is in rough shape. You can see a giant scratch right there going through the artwork. Really not good. There's a ton of scratches everywhere on the card as well, but this is a Kingler Reverse Holo Rare Delta Species from EX Crystal Guardians. These Reverse Holo Rares genuinely look so nice. From the EX era, yeah, really nice looking card, but let's see how much it's worth. Alright, for a damaged reverse holo of this card, it's looking like it's going for about $3.73, which is honestly surprisingly low. I mean, that's close to the price of that Pichu card, which I think this is way cooler to be honest, but you know, I'm not the one deciding prices, but this card is gorgeous. Alright, let's see what the next card is. Again, this one, well, first of all, this one's really off-center, top to bottom. Yeah, a lot of whitening on the sides, a lot on the top. Same old, but yeah, mostly just off-centered and dirty. But let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, Donphan Prime card from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. This one looks sick. You can't see much of the actual holo on the artwork itself. I mean, you can see a little bit, but yeah, Donphan's kind of blocking it all. But I love the way these like silver border cards look. The reflective name on it too. Yeah, and I love how the holo goes on the border as well. This honestly looks really nice, but let's see how much it's worth. Alright, a damaged holo foil of this on TCG Player is going for about $3.15, which again, honestly seems really low. I mean, this card, I don't think is easy to pull. I mean, I don't think any prime cards are, but again, I'm not deciding the prices. Alright, let's see what the next card is. I'm immediately seeing a lot of whitening on the top, one in the corner, pretty bad whitening there. On the sides too, a ton of whitening. On the bottom too, pretty noticeable there. The left side looks pretty nice. Not too bad, but let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, War Turtle. I think this is a reverse holo. Yeah, it is a reverse holo. It's an uncommon. War Turtle reverse holo from EX Crystal Guardians. A vintage reverse holo that honestly doesn't look that bad. I mean, I can see a little crease on the side right there. But other than that, this card is looking really nice from the front. The holo's a little bit scratched, but it's not the end of the world. Let's see how much this costs. Alright, so a damaged reverse holo of this card is going for about $4.05. So honestly, pretty good value for this card. I mean, I don't know if I'd consider this damaged, probably heavy play is more accurate, but just a really nice looking reverse holo. Alright, let's see what the next card is. This one doesn't look that bad. It looks dirty on the back, but they kind of all do. I see mostly whitening in the corners. Some on the right side right there, but I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. Let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, Luminion Holo. I'm not sure what set this is from. Some Diamond and Pearl set. Right off the bat, I see this very nice swirl pattern right there, right next to Luminion. It's a really nice looking holo. I mean, the artwork is kind of basic. It's really just Luminion and the holo pattern, but still a really cool card. I'm not gonna complain about this, but let's see how much it's worth. So it looks like this card damage is going for about $1.25, which I don't know, it's honestly surprisingly low for a vintage holo like this. Also, yeah, now that I'm looking at this more closely, the holo is pretty scratched. I'm not sure how well it shows up on camera, but the holo foil is definitely scratched all over. But I mean, it's still a really nice looking card. I'm not gonna complain about this. Alright, let's see what the next card is. I'm seeing right off the bat a lot more whitening on this card. I'm seeing it in all the corners, a little ding in the top right there, all over the right side, a little bit on the bottom, but I don't know, overall not too bad. Let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, we got a Plusle Cracked Ice holo pattern. Heart Gold Soul Silver. Another Black Star promo. I love these Cracked Ice holos, but let's see how much this is worth. Alright, TCG Player says this is going for about $1, but I don't know, there's 3 listings for it on there for a damaged one, and the cheapest one is like $8, so I'm not gonna consider this $1, I'll just go with $8, considering that's what people are listing it for. But no, this card genuinely looks really nice. This one's a little bit scratched, but actually no, the holo looks very scratched now that I'm looking at it. But you know, still no bends or creases anywhere. This could be in far worse shape. So I think this is pretty alright. Alright, let's see what the next card is. I'm not seeing very much whitening. I see some in the corners as usual, but I don't know, not that much on the sides or anything. It doesn't look that dirty either. It looks pretty alright. Pretty scratched on the back though. But let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, a Motham holo from, yeah, look at that, Pop Series 7. This is a holo from Pop Series. Wow, I didn't know this was from, yeah, I didn't know this was from any Pop Series, but no, this one looks really nice. I mean, again, the background's pretty dull, I'm not gonna lie. Looks like there's a little bit of a mark on it right there. I could probably clean that, but oh, and there's like some kind of indentation in the card right there. Yeah, it's definitely pretty beat up, but I mean, it's a pretty cool looking holo. Let's see how much this is worth. It's looking like this card damage is going for about 68 cents on TCG Player, which is honestly surprising. I thought these Pop Series holos were worth a lot more, but I guess not Motham. Motham doesn't get the high price. Alright, let's see what the next card is. This one I can already see a lot of whitening on each of the corners. The top has a lot of whitening on it too. The sides look pretty alright, and it doesn't look that dirty either, but let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, Flareon Pop Series 3. Yeah, look at that, Pop Series 3. This is 2006. This is an EX era card. And yeah, the artwork definitely looks older, but nah. Pop Series 3 holo. This one looks really nice. I love the artwork on this. And you know, it doesn't look too bad on the front either, but let's see how much it's worth. Alright, so this card damaged is going for about $3 on TCG Player, which is definitely not bad. I mean, this one's pretty off-center, and the holo is pretty scratched as well. But I don't know, this just looks like a really nice card to me. I don't mind the relatively low price, but yeah, this card is just nice to look at, honestly. Alright, let's see what the next card is. This one looks really clean. I mean, there's light whitening on the side and on the corners, but yeah, no, this one looks relatively clean, I'd say. Let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, we got the Zoroark Black Star promo from Black and White. This one brings back memories. This is a really nice Cosmofoil holo. After they kind of ditched it in Black and White, they still did it for this promo at least. But no, this one looks really nice on the front too. The holo is definitely a little scratched. I'm not sure how well it shows, but honestly, it looks really nice. Let's see how much this is worth. Alright, so a damaged holo of this is going for about 39 cents. On TCG Player, so yeah, not very much at all if I'm being honest, but I mean, artwork wise, this one still looks really nice. I think this one looks just as good as the more expensive cards here, but no, I really like this card. This one, I'm pretty sure this is one of my last childhood cards that I got before I stopped collecting cards. Even though it's a little beat up, I think it still looks pretty nice. Alright, let's see what the last card is. This one doesn't look that bad either. I mean, whitening in the corners like all the other cards, but the sides look pretty nice. The top and bottom don't look bad. It doesn't look very dirty either. I don't know, this one looks pretty clean. Let's see what the front looks like. Ooh, we have a Muna. I think this is a McDonald's promo, if I have that right. But yeah, 7 out of 12. The holo doesn't even look that scratched. The front doesn't look terrible either. I don't know, this is just a nice little promo card from back in the day. Just has the official artwork on there, but no, this one looks really nice. Let's see how much it's worth. So a damaged holo of this card is going for about $1.25, which, you know, isn't that bad, honestly. Especially for someone that wanted like maybe a complete set of these McDonald's promos. I think that's a pretty fair price to pay. And I mean, I really like the holo pattern on this too. I think it looks really nice. But if you want to see me open an entire booster box of Raging Surf, then click the video on screen, and thank you so much for watching.